It's not often I'm compelled to sing, and you'll understand why in a minute when I'm starting one of these things. But honestly, what I want to sing is, where do I begin? I am at the trial of Ghomeshi, who is charged with sexual assault and 1 count of choking. And today, on the first day of evidence, we heard from the first complainant, and her identity and her name are protected under a pub ban. So I can't do any of that. But what I can tell you is that her testimony and her story are so full of such enormous holes that I am having a very hard time understanding how this case actually made it to court, how this charge. The other complainants haven't come. Their testimony may be rock solid, and I'm not impugning them or anybody else. And I feel sorry for this woman, but she can't keep her story straight. Mr. Ghomeshi is charged with 2 counts of sexual assault in connection with her, both of them happening, one in late 2002, one in early 2003. The first one, she says, happened in his car, and the kind of car he drove was central to her story, because according to her, he drove a bright yellow Volkswagen Beetle, a love bug. And she told the police and she told others that, you know, it was a Disney car, and this charming, charismatic man drove this bright yellow Disney car, and it gave her comfort. She felt, you know, he's got to be a nice guy, drives a Disney car. Well, according to Marie Hennon, Mr. Ghomeshi's lawyer, Mr. Ghomeshi didn't have that car then. He didn't buy that VW bug for months and months later after this alleged incident. And the woman had made it quite a big feature of her story. So the lawyer said to her, well, do you acknowledge that you must have been mistaken? Mr. Ghomeshi didn't own that car then. He owned a GTI. I have a GTI. I know exactly what it looks like, and it looks like nothing like a Volkswagen Bug. And the woman said, no, it just meant she wasn't a car connoisseur. But she missed the point. She had made it this central comforting fact of her claim that she was beaten up. And the story is horrific. She says she's in this bright yellow Volkswagen Bug that Mr. Ghomeshi didn't own. And, well, this is the other part where she can't keep her story straight. She can't decide, and her story has been all over the map on this, whether when he grabbed her hair, as she says he did, violently, and pulled her back with the hair, whether they were kissing. It sounds like it doesn't matter, but it matters, because to make this a sexual assault, which is what Mr. Ghomeshi's charged with, there had to be some sort of sexual intimacy going on. At best, depending on when she's talking, this woman says they were kissing. Today, in examination in chief, she said it was a sensual kiss, but she didn't mention the kissing in some of her media interviews, and she, I think, only mentioned it to the police when they asked her about it. So there's all of that, and then there's the fact that to explain her changing memory, and her memory changes all the time. She said at one point, for instance, there's the whole hair extension issue. I know I'm going on, but like I say, where do I begin? There's a big issue about hair extension. She says Mr. Ghomeshi yanked her hair back like that really, really hard. It really hurt. She was scared, etc. And sometimes she says, I was wearing hair extensions, and the kind of hair extensions she wore were clip-on ones, and they would have come off in Mr. Ghomeshi's hands if he'd done that. Other times she says, no, I wasn't wearing hair extensions. She says that was a wrong memory, and she said memory is like, you have to sit with the memory. Well, she's been sitting with these memories since 2002 and 2003, and I'm afraid she's just not very credible. Oh man, what a mess.